targeting an audience that listens to what you say. Learn more about this exciting radio broadcasting opportunity by calling WNZK Radio at 248-557-3500. This is WNZK, Dearborn Heights, Detroit. Your ethnic superstation at 690 days, 680 nights.
Good morning. My name is Ike Engelbaum. I'm the host of the Bright Side of Aging and the Entrepreneurs Network radio show. Due to popular demand, today we bring back Bob Allison's Ask Your Neighbor radio broadcast. Bob passed away last March, and due to the current COVID crisis, his broadcast left the air after nearly 60 years of solving household problems for the neighbors. But today, we'll devote a portion of this broadcast to helping you, the neighbors. It could be looking for a particular recipe, where to buy it, how to do it, advice of travel or personal matters, and more. I've invited Bob's son, Rob, to join us for his thoughts and input. Rob has been a critical part of Ask Your Neighbor for some 25 years. The Ask Your Neighbor website, askyourneighbor.com, still offers a number of Bob Allison's popular cookbooks and hundreds of recipes as well. Do you have a common household problem that you'd like solved? Well, while we're on the air, why don't you call in number 248-557-3300 and ask your neighbor. That's 248-557-3300 for the next hour. Wow. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Do you like snacks? Well, why don't you try the Ike Bakery folks that have now created 3 new flavors of gluten-free granolas: maple vanilla, blueberry, and toffee chocolate, all sold in 16-ounce bags for just $4.99. All new is Ori's cinnamon pull-apart, made with Danish dough and rich cinnamon filling. It's great with coffee or milk and hard to stop eating. You will find all these items at the Ike Bakery Market on Farmington Road between I-96 and Plymouth Road in Livonia. Try it out. As Jackie Gleason used to say, how sweet it is. For over 30 years, Cruz Hearing and Service has helped thousands of neighbors improve their hearing and enjoy the sounds of their life again. In fact, I am a client. If you don't hear as well as you'd like, Cruz Hearing can help you. They have an excellent selection of hearing units to fit just about any need and budget with financing available. Trust me, I can attest to that personally. They have 3 convenient locations to serve you: Farmington Hills, Taylor, and their newest in Waterford on M59, west of the airport. Phone Cruz Hearing Aid Service toll-free for a free hearing evaluation. Their phone number is 877-456-CRUZ, C-R-U-Z, or visit them on their web at cruzhearing.com. That number again is 877-456-2789. Financing is available. And Bob Allison, who is no longer around, was one of the clients, and Bob Allison's cookbooks are available. If you call Cruz Hearing, ask for the free cookbook, and get a free hearing evaluation at the same time. For that, call 888-489-8980. Call 1-888-489-8980. Even if you don't get the hearing aids, you'll still get a free hearing test as well as a free Bob Allison cookbook. 1-888-489-8980. Cindy, oh Cindy, hey, wondering what the heck is going on, right? Well, I'll tell you what's going on. We're doing the Ask Your Neighbor segment, and Bright Side of Aging, you are welcome to call in while we're on the air, 248-557-3300. That's good for the next hour, 248-557-3300. For the first segment, or half hour, we try to devote our talk to helping seniors in their lives as well as they go along in terms of their needs. And the second segment at 11:30, we break into the Entrepreneurs Network segment, where if you are looking to start a business career, by all means, listen in. Ideally, call in while we're on the air, 248-557-3300. When we're off the air, I have a neat toll-free number that I'll be repeating throughout the show, and that is 888-489-8980. That's 1-888-489-8980. I've been on the air now close to half a century. Wow. And I like to say that age is a matter of the mind. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. And I try to bring out the positive aspects of aging and also the practical parts of aging. And I'm really excited about having Cindy Morley on the air with me because she is a dynamite individual who realized that as we age, what happens, many times they call it the sandwich generation, where the family is, you got young kids that have to be taken care of as kids, and the parents have to help and their parents. So Cindy Morley said to herself, how about if I start a company where we have parents changing places? Is that how that all started, Cindy?
That is. Hi, thanks for having me today.
Well,
that's exactly how it started, with a parent.
Well, why don't we get you back a little bit? What's your background and what prompted you to get involved with your business?
Well, it actually was a personal situation, back in 2000 and early 2003 or so. A situation with my mother who had some health issues, and as a family we were unaware of what we should do with her, how to do it, and just started doing a lot of research. So as you said, we're the sandwich generation, and we had jobs and children and sporting events, etc. So it was rather daunting. And after we were able to help my mom with her situation and get her situated, we decided, hey, we are not the only people out there in this gray area. So we decided to put Parents Changing Spaces into business. And so that's how it happened.
Well, I collect a lot of trivia facts, and the interesting thing about what you just said is that almost I'm not a statistician, but it is amazing how many home care services were started because of that very reason. They suddenly realized that, hey, I need this help. I'm sure there are others. A very good friend of mine, Noah, has a company where this for disabled people, challenged, because his father had a terrible stroke, and he reached out for help, and it was like climbing walls. So he took care of his dad until unfortunately he passed away. But the father was treated by a young guy who was really energetic and decided to start a whole company. He was into the ramps and grab bars, you name it. He's got it, because what his father needed, he decided I was going to help. And that's the wonderful thing about our country, and why I'm so proud to be involved with our entrepreneur segment, which we discuss at the break of the half hour. So tell me about your company, and how does it work? Parents changing places. What's the procedure?
Well, it's actually parents changing spaces.
Spaces.
But places close enough. So we are a free senior living placement and referral service. Mm-hmm. So our primary service is to help individuals and or their families locate and secure all types of senior living. So we work with independent senior apartments. We work with independent living with services. We work with assisted living and memory care, nursing homes, and we do a great deal with residential care homes or adult foster care homes as well.
I'm curious, and not to cut you off, when you say nursing homes, how does a person who's already bedridden in a nursing home, what's the procedure there? Is a patient in there already, or you suggest nursing homes that should be considered for them?
We suggest nursing homes that may be considering for them for rehab and or long-term care if needed. So, and nursing homes are a little different situation because they are Medicare, primarily Medicare and Medicaid related. So they're a little bit different from what we do. Our primary service really is assisted living and memory care and group homes. Mm-hmm.
So let's say the phone rings and Cindy answers. What happens? What's the typical conversation like?
Well, the way we start the placement process is either on the phone, or we may schedule an in-person consultation through that initial phone call. And by in-person consultation, I mean we go to visit individuals in the hospitals and rehab centers or in their homes, or meet with families wherever it may be convenient for them. Mm-hmm. And then during that time, we develop a client profile. And we focus primarily on four major topics, okay? And one would be, of course, medically, what are those individuals' needs? Socially, what are their interests? Geographically, what would the preferences be? And then, of course, what would the financial budget be? Mm-hmm. And so at that point, we basically just do the legwork. We find out what is available for you within your specific criteria. And our goal is to match the individual with the community and the community with the individual. Mm-hmm. So what we would do is we would educate the family on what the pros and the cons are, help to eliminate some of the pros and the cons, and then we would set up appointments, we set up tours, and we tour with our families as well. Mm-hmm. So I guess the best way to think about what we do is we are like realtors for seniors. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We do the legwork, and again, in that same regard, our service is of no charge to our client. Like a realtor, we receive a commission or a referral fee from the senior community after placement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, that's very much like financial planners work as well. In other words, you have taken a smart business strategy since the client does not pay. You identify what's best for them and then place them in that appropriate spot. I'm glad you brought up that spiritual part because a lot of people are not aware how important it is for especially aged people who are religiously inclined, and they get put in a place where there is no religiosity, if there is such a word, available. And let's face it, if you're in an assisted living center, an independent living center, and you look around and you really don't have anybody else that you connect with spiritually, that's really a big hole in your life, is it not?
Absolutely, and we hear that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Spiritually and socially as well. Someone who is, a shut-in in an apartment or in a home they've lived in for 50 or 60 or 70 years really, really strives for socialization and spiritual connection as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I was just wondering in terms of the costs involved. Do you have a ballpark idea of what does it cost today? What is the range?
Sure. So actually, independent senior apartments that are subsidized can start as low as about $300 per month. Now, those would be a community that would not offer any amenities like home care or meals, but starting at about $300 a month, and they can go up to as high as in assisted living or in memory care. Again, typically those pricings are $3,000 to $5,000, but can go as high as $8,000 or $9,000 or even $10,000 a month.
Mm-hmm. So that's why
it can get pretty costly.
Yeah, right. Well, that's why they need somebody like Cindy Morley to make that determination, because I think that's step number one, is that what is your budget that you can afford, and then how can we match that to your situation. Now, you mentioned geographically, what area do you cover?
Geographically, we are, of course, all of Southeast Michigan. We have placed people in Northern Michigan and have also had the opportunity to place families out of state as well. Mm-hmm. So, ironically enough, we do get a number of families where either the adult children are in Michigan and the parents are in Arizona or Florida. So we can kind of work together with the two of them and help to place either in Michigan or out of state as well.
Now, your initial consultation, well, you already mentioned that you really don't charge for your service. So, as far as the time involved, when someone calls you, how much time should they give you for you to do an assessment?
Typically, we can do a phone assessment right on the spot. Mm-hmm. And then once we have an idea of what that individual's needs are, then we can get to work to find out what's available. Mm-hmm. We would then connect with either a rehab center or a hospital and get medical records to determine exactly what those individuals' medical needs are, and then again connect them with senior communities that may be appropriate or possibly convenient and affordable for individuals to make sure that that community can accommodate that individual's needs medically.
Mm-hmm.
We have placed people as quickly as the same day. It's kind of nice to have a few days when you're getting all the medical records in place and perhaps helping to set up physical and occupational therapy and getting all the prescriptions into place. A few days really is a help.
Mm-hmm. And if someone wants to get a hold of you, what phone number would you like to give out?
Well, we do have a toll-free number, and the area code is 844, the number 7, parent, PARENT. And again, that would be 844-772-7368.
And if anyone, of course, is interested, we always have our safety net phone number, 888-489-8980. I am about to take a brief break. Do you want to stick around, or do you have to run?
I'll stick around.
All right, so don't go away. Nobody go away, because we got to get this sack together. We'll be right back. In 1932, John B. Frentz moved to Royal Oak and opened Frentz Hardware. In addition to the personal service, the family offered the community a store that provided those needed everyday hardware items. Plus, they specialize in unusual and hard-to-find products. Right now, you'll find all the gardening hardware, fertilizer, seeds, weed killers, and more for your landscape. Frentz Hardware is still family-run at the corner of Main Street and 11.5-mile road in Royal Oak, and according to Popular Mechanics magazine, is one of the top 12 hardware stores in the United States. If you can't find it anywhere, you'll find it at Frentz. They're open every day. Call 248-544-8111. And when you call, Bob Allison's cookbooks are available for free. A limited supply is available. And if you would like some information on Bob Allison's cookbooks, by all means, call our toll-free number, 888-489-8980. But for hardware needs, call them directly, 248-544-8111. With all those numbers, I assume you'll be able to get a lottery ticket for free, or at least $1 million. Hope that you check out Frentz Hardware in Royal Oak. Thank you. Do you like snacks? Well, why don't you try the Ike Bakery folks that have now created 3 new flavors of gluten-free granolas: maple vanilla, blueberry, and toffee chocolate, all sold in 16-ounce bags for just $4.99. All new is Ori's cinnamon pull-apart, made with Danish dough and rich cinnamon filling. It's great with coffee or milk and hard to stop eating. You will find all these items at the Ike Bakery Market on Farmington Road between I-96 and Plymouth Road in Livonia. Try it out. As Jackie Gleason used to say, how sweet it is. And it's sweet to have someone on the air like Cindy Morley, who is the founder and owner of Parents Changing Spaces. And Cindy, before break, I asked you to give us a little bit of an overview of that initial consultation. And for those folks that may not have listened, they call up Cindy at Parents Changing Spaces and give us an example of the conversation.
An example of a conversation would be to find out who, of course, number one, they are calling about, and what their present situation is. Is the individual living at home? Are they in the hospital? Are they in a rehab center? And to just determine what their both physical and cognitive needs may be. Mm-hmm. And then from there, we do our legwork.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We missed you there.
Oh. Sorry about that.
Go ahead. Repeat. That's modern technology in action.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you hear me now?
Yes. Now you're on. Yes.
Okay. All right. Very good. So when we have an initial phone call, what we do is, of course, number one, find out who the individual is they're calling about, and then find out from family members who know that individual best, what they're like, what their current situation is. Are they in the hospital? Are they living at home? Are they in a rehab center? And then to talk about what their physical and both cognitive situation is at the moment, what their needs are at the moment. And then from there, we can do the legwork, find out what may be, an appropriate community that, has an all around fit for that individual. As we talked about earlier, geographically, spiritually and socially, and what that financial budget is. Mm-hmm. So that is basically how the initial phone call would go.
And there's no charge, obviously, from what you told me, and you actually then physically make sure that all the records that they need to the facility is prepared. So, because I know that can be quite an ordeal. You're checking in a place and all the records of their medical condition and what have you is not there, and then you also will you visit the patient that's in a rehab center just to see how they are in that setting as well, or do you wait till they're totally discharged?
We will visit in the rehab center, of course, non-COVID times.
Right.
But what we really insist on is that the specific community, senior community that they would be going to would have their medical team go out and visit the individual in the hospital or the rehab center, so they can actually lay eyes on that individual to determine, how they are doing physically as well as cognitively.
Mm-hmm. So you're like a matchmaker, right?
We're like a matchmaker, and I like that. I'll have to use that. That's very good. Right.
You light up my life. Go ahead.
And Ike, there's one more thing that we didn't talk about that we can help with matchmaking, and that's the fact that there are a number of programs out there that individuals may qualify for that can help to lessen that financial budget.
Wow.
So what we do is we talk about the budget as well, and the income and a little bit about the assets, and then and one of the big things would be a program that has often been coined the best kept secret, and that is the Veterans Aid and Attendance Program. So we're asking those type of questions as well. Was your dad or your mom a veteran? And if so, if they were a wartime veteran, they could qualify for funds that would help to pay for their stay in a senior community or help to pay for home care in their home as well.
Wow, that sounds great. Unfortunately, we'll have to have you back again because I'd like to ask you some more questions, but we don't have time for today's visit. I'd like to have you. It's been terrific, Cindy, and we'll be in touch. And right now, I like to wrap up this segment with my favorite thought, which is yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift, and that's why we call it the present. please enjoy your present by looking at life and the bright side of aging.
What business are you in? What do you sell? Has COVID changed how you acquire business? We now live in what marketing experts call the attention economy. Old school marketing tactics aren't working. Getting your business noticed in a world where eyes and ears are tuned to speakers and screens 16 hours a day requires a planned approach to get attention. If you care about your business tomorrow, you gotta change how you're marketing today. You may not be able to outspend the competition, but with the right help, you can outthink them. Located conveniently in Troy, Michigan, Grow Studios can help you shorten the sales cycle and deepen your relationships with your clients. We do this by helping you develop video and audio content that helps your target audience develop a trust for you and your product or services. Grow Studios is a friend of the Entrepreneurs Network of Michigan. Ask Ike about GrowStudiosClub.com.
For over 30 years, Cruz Hearing and Service has helped thousands of neighbors improve their hearing and enjoy the sounds of their life again. In fact, I am a client. If you don't hear as well as you'd like, Cruz Hearing can help you. They have an excellent selection of hearing units to fit just about any need and budget with financing available. Trust me, I can attest to that personally. They have 3 convenient locations to serve you: Farmington Hills, Taylor, and their newest in Waterford on M59, west of the airport. Phone Cruz Hearing Aid Service toll-free for a free hearing evaluation. Their phone number is 877-456-CRUZ, C-R-U-Z, or visit them on their web at cruzhearing.com. That number again is 877-456-2789. Financing is available. And Bob Allison, who is no longer around, was one of the clients, and Bob Allison's cookbooks are available. If you call Cruz Hearing, ask for the free cookbook and get a free hearing evaluation at the same time. For that, call 888-489-8980. Call 1-888-489-8980. Even if you don't get the hearing aids, you'll still get a free hearing test as well as a free Bob Allison cookbook. 1-888-489-8980. And I'd like you to make sure you've got that phone number written all over your house, and maybe outside the house if the neighbors don't bother you. Why? Because as we just heard Cindy Morley talk about your concern in taking care of seniors, this segment we try to devote to entrepreneurship. And if you, especially right now, are unemployed and want to be able to make a living right out of your home, that's what this segment is all about. I started the Entrepreneurs Network of Michigan, again, almost a half a century ago. It seems like half a century goes by very quickly. In fact, we have Zoom meetings now every other Tuesday from 12 to 1, and we'd love to have you participate. Just call our number and we can put you on our mailing list and contact you and hopefully help you in almost every situation. And there's a lot of opportunity out there, and the point is that first of all you have to know what you want to do. You have to have a passion for it. And we can help you identify what areas you might want to consider. And I'm really excited about having a entrepreneur right in studio with me, and she actually did exactly what I'm describing. Rose Sweet is her name, and she was in a travel type business. And then when things turned around as they have, she didn't give up. She, as I like to say it, pivoted. Is that right, Rose Sweet?
That is. And thank you, Ike, for having me here in the studio today with you. I pivoted my business, and what I learned in this year, the pandemic year of 2020, is that the majority of us who are self-employed and us who work for others, need to have a side hustle. We can no longer depend on one job to carry us through like we could even 5 years ago. So what I did with Step on Bus Tours, which is currently dark because the buses aren't running, is I put it on ice. No pun intended. But currently it's dark and we're not doing any trips until I am sure when we are going to be out of the pandemic. And I can't tell when that is going to be. In the meantime, what have I done to create income? Gee, I'm so glad you asked that question. One of the things I did, among a few others, is that I created a business called the Caregiving Gal. And what the Caregiving Gal does is go into homes of people of all ages and help them either change their bandages if they came out of back surgery, for example, or if they need help maneuvering around their houses, or if they need help cleaning their houses and even taking care of their dogs. One thing that we have to realize is that people are in love with their pets. Their pets are their be-all, end-alls.
Well, you know, they've been announcing in the news that there are more pets being sold now than ever before because of the companionship a pet offers. By the way, do you know the difference between a dog and a cat?
Oh, please do tell.
Well, they say that if you feed and take care of a dog, it thinks that you are God. If you feed and take care of a cat, the cat thinks that it's God.
Well, and that's very true. I have both in my house, and they are so loved and adored.
Well, they also have a line that a dog, when you come home, will rush up to you and grab you and show all kinds of excitement to see you there. A cat will send you a postcard.
That's right, and they do that. But back to caregiving with animals, I took care of a gentleman's home. He was gone for 9 days, and he insisted that I take his dogs for a walk in the park off leash.
Oh, wow.
Twice a day for 9 days. He wanted me because I love animals with my heart and soul.
Right.
And you can probably see some animal hair on my clothes because no outfit is complete without it.
Yeah.
So I organized and cleaned his house, which took every bit of 9 days and more. And I took care of his animals. And he was so thrilled with the fact that his animals were self-contained. They were not rambunctious. They did not leave messes all over. And that his house was ready for him and his date.
Wow. So one of the other perks, if you are open to it, is the fact that if someone does go for a wedding or something, rather than putting the pets into some sort of a boarding kennel, which I'm not quite sure about the logistics now anyway, the dog or the cat stays in place.
Yes.
Which is they're like humans. That's home.
That's their home.
How about that?
Sure.
Are you ready for this? Rose Sweet, home sweet home.
Very cute. But you know, I also take care of quadriplegic, and it was a wonderful privilege of an experience for me to do so for the few years that I was able to do it. And he told me exactly what he wanted me to do in his house, how he wanted me to take care of him. He was such an individual, such an independent man that I learned so much from him. And it was a joy for me to do that. So I took care of him 3 days a week.
Right. Well, you know.
3 full days
wow.
a week. 3
wow.
24-hour days a week.
Right. Oh, well, if anybody wants to get a hold of you, what phone number would you like to do?
I would love for you to give out my personal cell phone number.
Wow.
And that is 248-709-6558. That's 248-709-6558. Please leave a message if I can't get to the phone on time. And I look forward to any of the callers who would be available.
Right. Well, and of course, we always have our toll-free number available, 888-489-8980. And look forward to actually having people not only call you, but you're giving them advice on some of the other areas of expertise that you have, like nutrition and caregiving. But we'll do that after our brief break. Don't go away, because we have Rose Sweet, and we want to stay sweet. So don't go away. We'll be right back. In 1932, John B. Frentz moved to Royal Oak and opened Frentz Hardware. In addition to the personal service, the family offered the community a store that provided those needed everyday hardware items. Plus, they specialize in unusual and hard-to-find products. Right now, you'll find all the gardening hardware, fertilizer, seeds, weed killers, and more for your landscape. Frentz Hardware is still family-run at the corner of Main Street and 11.5-mile road in Royal Oak. And according to Popular Mechanics magazine, is one of the top 12 hardware stores in the United States. If you can't find it anywhere, you'll find it at Frentz. They're open every day. Call 248-544-8111. And when you call, Bob Allison's cookbooks are available for free. A limited supply is available. And if you would like some information on Bob Allison's cookbooks, by all means, call our toll-free number, 888-489-8980. But for hardware needs, call them directly, 248-544-8111. With all those numbers, I assume you'll be able to get a lottery ticket for free, or at least $1 million. Hope that you check out Frentz Hardware in Royal Oak. Thank you.
What business are you in? What do you sell? Has COVID changed how you acquire business? We now live in what marketing experts call the attention economy. Old school marketing tactics aren't working. Getting your business noticed in a world where eyes and ears are tuned to speakers and screens 16 hours a day requires a planned approach to get attention. If you care about your business tomorrow, you gotta change how you're marketing today. You may not be able to outspend the competition, but with the right help, you can outthink them. Located conveniently in Troy, Michigan, Grow Studios can help you shorten the sales cycle and deepen your relationships with your clients. We do this by helping you develop video and audio content that helps your target audience develop a trust for you and your product or services. Grow Studios is a friend of the Entrepreneurs Network of Michigan. Ask Ike about GrowStudiosClub.com.
That was Dan Nichols, and since he referred to me, I don't mind telling you he's a dynamo. And if you are looking to start or build your business, he's got a regular TV studio, and a pricing is very, very reasonable, because now, like Dan brought out, you have to be creative. And you can put a program together with the internet, Facebook, Instagram, all of it under one banner to make you not only almost famous, but possibly rich. And as I like to say, is that you don't have to be famous to be happy. And actually, the way it goes is you don't have to be famous and rich to be happy. You just have to be rich. I can't guarantee you're going to be a multimillionaire, but one thing is for sure: if you're doing stuff the same old, we are now facing a challenge that we've never really faced as we are now. And we have Zoom meetings every other Tuesday, and our next meeting is going to be the first Tuesday of next year. So January 5th from 12 to 1. If you want to participate, just give us a toll call, 888-489-8980, and we'll send you out the appropriate information for you to participate. And one of the newer members of our group is right in studio, who did the typical entrepreneurial strategy. She rose sweet at a travel type business. It was called Stepan
Bus Tours.
Stepan, and tell us about that.
That's a really exciting company, Ike, because Stepan Bus Tours travels all over the world. Can you imagine going on a bus trip to South Africa from Detroit?
Yes, that would be an experience.
But we do that, and I took a group of people to South Africa. We traveled from Detroit. We stopped in Frankfurt, where we had a city tour for 8 hours. It was phenomenal. And then we proceeded onward to Johannesburg, South Africa. And then we got in the bus and did the rest of the tour, and it was really exciting. Wow. But we have day trips and overnight trips. We travel throughout the United States, of course, and one of our trips is going to be in Georgia. And I have many, many surprises that are planned, as with all of our trips. We have a fabulous trip planned to England next year. I'm not sure when it's going to be. It depends when I feel that we can travel safely and that people will be healthy and COVID-free. But we have a trip to London. We have a trip to England where we explore so many different things. One of my travelers is insisting on meeting with the Queen. But I don't think the Queen Mum is going to entertain us.
I think that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah. Plus, Philip might not be up to it.
Right. Well,
but that's on the books for next year, I guarantee.
Yeah, well, the good news is that now with the vaccine forthcoming, that we will get a semblance of life like it was before all of this challenge. And you did the typical entrepreneurial strategy that, hey, rather than sitting there crying that what you can't do, you decided, what can I do? And in a way, it's a very logical pivot, as we call it, since you were sort of caregiving on the buses when people were looking around as to what to look for and what the history is. You decided to make a business out of it.
Absolutely.
Caregiver, yeah. So tell me, in your caregiving, what is your strategy? What do you do? Someone calls.
Okay. I got a call yesterday from a woman who has macular degeneration, and she needs help in moving her house from where she lives to another city, because the house is easier for her to move around in. And she's been in the house for decades, so we know that means there's a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. She needs help packing, tossing, organizing. Mm-hmm. She needs help also with her own person. Mm-hmm. She can't always make her meals very well, and she needs help moving around. Mm-hmm. So I go to her house, I meet with her, I look at her situation, I give her a cursory cost of what I think it'll take to put everything together. Now, when I do this, I'm so used to moving quickly and doing everything right away, but I have to double it because everything always takes longer than what you think.
Right.
Nothing is 5 minutes.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Many people don't realize, because they've lived in that particular situation for so long, they assume it's going to take 5 minutes, but it doesn't.
It doesn't.
But
I give her a written estimate, by the way.
I see. So that this way there's no unpleasant surprises, so to speak.
Correct.
So when you say caregiving, it's not a matter of just the medical portion. You actually get into
caregive for the whole being, the whole persona,
including pets and taking care of them and
their house and
right. And so you even clean the house and you help organize
correct.
it. Wow.
Correct. We go through every single thing, though. What I think is cleaning is different than what you think is cleaning.
Right. Yeah. Well, talk to my wife; she'll agree with you.
Oh yeah.
So the point is that my wife many times is frustrated when I wash the dishes. Why don't you just put them in the dishwasher? And I don't know, I just, because of my upbringing, I feel I should do something. So I wash the dishes, and invariably it's not properly clean. So I said, what can I do? She says to me, do nothing. I said,
That is so correct.
So I agree with you. You know, I'm very good at doing that.
Yeah, as most men.
But you do everything, which is wonderful. And we were talking off the air that you also, because of the number of places you've been at and all, can do sort of a walkthrough of safety concerns that the person should have.
Yes, I'm paranoid about fires in my house as it is. Mm-hmm. So I have fire extinguishers in every room. And that's because my mother's mother burned in a house fire.
Wow.
So that has put me on guard. When I go into somebody's house, I look for key safety issues. I have a written clipboard, a list on a clipboard that I go through so I can see what's around the furnace, what's around the water heater, where the shutoff valves are, where the electrical panels are, what's around them, can I access them easily, where are the smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors, and much more than that, but that gives you an idea of what I'm checking for initially.
Well, you know, it's inexcusable, especially now that we're heading into the holiday season, that we don't have the fire extinguishers checked, because so many people don't really have time, or just are very lax about it. So you can actually remind them, and and also test the smoke detectors and all. And just wanted to pick up on one of your other talents when we get back from our break. Nutrition. You not only help the physical part, but the personal part as to what people should
That's correct. I love to eat.
Well, hopefully people will eat healthy, especially now.
Yeah.
So we'll be right back to touch on a few of those before we wrap it up. But right now, take a brief break, and we'll be right back. Do you like snacks? Well, why don't you try the Oury Bakery folks that have now created 3 new flavors of gluten-free granolas: maple vanilla, blueberry, and toffee chocolate, all sold in 16-ounce bags for just $4.99. All new is Oury's cinnamon pull-apart, made with Danish dough and rich cinnamon filling. It's great with coffee or milk and hard to stop eating. You will find all these items at the Oury Bakery Market on Farmington Road between I-96 and Plymouth Road in Livonia. Try it out. As Jackie Gleason used to say, how sweet it is. And I wanted to make mention of one of our other sponsors, Able Zone. And for those visually impaired neighbors that are out there, and Able Zone is located in Troy and has hundreds of products to make your life easier and more enjoyable. It could be a talking watch or clock or thermometer or talking caller ID, a large print address book, or a TV remote, a video magnifier to enhance what you read. Lighting products are much more than just having a light bulb. Able Zone is on Rochester Road, just north of Big Beaver. Open Tuesday through Saturday. If you'd like to get out there, give us a call and we can make arrangements to have you pick up a free Bob Allison cookbook. 888-489-8980. Call 888-489-8980 and we can arrange for you to have a private tour of all the ways that your life could be made easier if you're visually impaired or have any difficulty hearing. In fact, there's a caption call phone whereby whenever you get a phone call, hooks up like a regular phone, and you actually see the conversation on the screen. And that's free, or I should say Medicare pays for it, so it's free to you. So the point is that without having to take any money out of your pocket, you could have a telephone that you can actually see what the person says. So give us a call and we'd like to make sure that you know what's available. That's 888-489-8980. And we only have a couple of minutes left, and I thought you might appreciate our guest today, Rose Sweet, who's a caregiver, calls herself Caregiver Gal, and she's into nutrition. So give us a 1 or 2 minute spot on what you do.
Okay, this is what I do. I would not expect anybody else to do this. Generally, I rise at 3:45 a.m.
Yeah.
And I typically have a ladleful of chicken noodle soup because I need to keep myself healthy, and Polish penicillin it is. I work out at my gym. I swim for about 40 minutes. I work out for an hour. I come home and walk the little girl. That's the little dog, because she's the queen. And then she eats, and I juice fresh carrots. So I will have carrot juice next. In order to be healthy, you have to feed your body good things throughout the day. And then after carrot juice, I'll do whatever I need to do, and then I'll have breakfast. And I typically have cut out sugar and wheat and dairy. Dairy is a tough thing for me, though. But I strongly believe in physical exercise because physical exercise is the fountain of youth.
Wow. Well, to be continued. We'll have you on our next week when we're on, because I love the name Rose. Sweet it is. That's your last name.
Yep.
And right now, I like to leave this segment with one of my favorite thoughts, which is, if you really want to get anything done in life, you'll find a way. And if you don't, you'll find an excuse. And there is no excuse for not achieving your dreams and goals of America, because it is the greatest country in the whole world. Remember, a goal is just a dream with a deadline.